Well, it's kind of out of order now. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude in part number 3 of the Dragon 1/35 scale Jagdtiger. So what do I mean by out of order? Well, my part 3 originally was steps 8 through 10. And yeah, the file was corrupted. Don't know what happened, and I don't have the original segments, so I'm just gonna have to recap. So what it was steps 8, 9, 10, and 11, and a little bit of 12. So that was just a lot of hull superstructure assembly, small parts assembly, and all of that kind of stuff. There wasn't really anything to talk about much. Everything fit like it should. These little parts here were tedious, this whole tarnation, and they're all crooked, and I may, have to flex those around, but those were frustrating. But I got all of the parts done on this side, on the engine deck. I scratch made some handles here. I don't remember why I did that. I think I might have lost one, so I just went ahead and made them both. Started putting these parts on, and these right here were just like a mess, so I might be able to bend them into place. But so basically I got the front glued on, the back glued on, and I was able to use the ATAC Zimmerit machine gun ball mount here instead of the kit supplied version, and it just fit a lot better. Now, one thing I will note though, early on, I don't know if you remember, but I lost this part right here. Well, guess what? I may have lost it, but I found it. I was doing something else on the by my desk, and it was way over there. So how it got so far away, I do not know. And I also have, this was on the other side of the desk, if I can get it picked up. This part here was on the other side of the desk, so I guess stopping for a while on this build really helped, because the time period from the last video and this video here, even though it may only be like a week or two apart in real time, in actual build time, it's been quite a while since I messed with this kit. I was starting to get frustrated with it, so I had to put it aside, and I actually built a couple of other kits in the meantime, but that's other videos for another day. So I'm going to start with these here, get these glued in place, and then I can continue on with all of these parts up here. So let's begin. So let's start with this here. Whoa, see if I can do it without dropping it again. Drop that, hopefully it won't get out of focus. Drop that into place there like that. Need to make sure this is flat. Yeah, it's pretty flat. So I just need to put this in place here. Maybe. And there it is. So that worked out. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting off some of these plastic parts that I need to finish off the top of the upper hull structure. And for the side here. Alright, so I'm ready to glue these smaller parts on. So we have, now this is one of the things, or one of the areas where dragging instructions kind of lame. And that is this part right here goes here, doesn't show up anywhere on the instructions. So you just got to pay attention for stuff like that. So put that one there. Cement, cement. Make sure it's pressed in place. Then we have this one here. This is D20. There's a couple of holes, corresponding pins. There's a little stem on there that actually faces toward the back. Glue there, there, and on the base of that little post stem thing, good measure. Then we have these two here, there, and holy Toledo. This is why I got frustrated with this kit a few weeks back. Okay, and these pins seem to be a little long, or wait a minute. There we go. That's better. I had it backwards. There's a large pin and a small pin. So you got to make sure you have those correct. A little dab of cement there. And there. Press firmly. There. There. Press firmly. Okay, so that takes care of all the small parts on the top, with the exception of this hatch. But before I can do the hatch, got these awesome ejector pin marks right in the top, and that is flipping frustrating. So I'm gonna have to fill it in with some filler, and because I don't want to be waiting forever for it to dry, I'm going to use this stuff here, and I will use handy dandy, if I can find one, toothpick. So while that is drying, I can move on to more of these side fittings. So we've got a lot of stuff here. All right, well, you know, I think basically it's the tools. So we got the shovel, the tanker bar, and this crank handle here. So let's see. I'm going to cut those off first. Okay, so let's see. D7. Let's see, 30 and 31. 31. All right. So I got the tools glued on, all these small parts on the top. And that pretty much takes care of, with the exception of the commander's hatch, that takes care of step number 12. So I'm ready to move on to 13, but I was noticing something. I was looking over the sprues, and we have sprue A here, and there's all these part numbers 14. And I'm like, what are those? Well, looking at them, they look like bumpers. Bumper stops, bump stops, whatever you want to call them. And in looking at the earlier steps, step number 2, I forgot to glue those on. So I need to do that before I get too far, because those go right there. And those are probably pretty crucial to the sit of this thing. So I'm going to cut those parts off. All right, I got the bumpers glued on that suspension. So next thing I want to do is I want to assemble this gun travel lock that goes on the front. Because of the photo etch Zimmerit, these little locating points on the front are covered up, and there are no embossed, or whatever you want to call it. You know, on some of this stuff, they've marked where things go, but they didn't on the front, Edward being they. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this whole thing off of the vehicle, just assemble it right here, and then just glue it all on as one piece. All right, so I got these parts cut off. Now, the instructions are kind of confusing here. And I'll tell you why, because it shows these two parts B6 being glued to the front of the hull. Okay, number one, I could not find B6 anywhere. Number two, it shows that this part here, the support for the gun travel lock, goes in between those B6 parts and D4. Now D4 I did find, but when looking at the illustrations, like especially on the box, that does not match at all. So it's showing that there are two pieces like this that sandwich this piece here, okay? But the illustration shows that this piece here is inside of here. So I don't know what the deal is, but there's obviously something amiss. So naturally, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it like it shows. And it even shows, let's see. Yeah, see, it just doesn't match. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that head off right there. And I am going to put that there, because there's an indentation there that will fit that there. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why it would be set up like that. It doesn't make sense. Even these two locator pins, they're not really making sense to me, but anyway, whatever. So then this piece goes here. I need to sand off some of the inside there. And then I need to cut off part D16, which is the part that hangs over there. And then there are a couple of, what do you call, photo etch pieces. So I'll get all those together, and then I'll start, actually assembling all this. All right, while I'm working on this travel lock, I'm also going to put together the headlight, because it kind of goes in the ring here, and I want to make sure that it fits properly. So I've got the parts cut off, and now it's just a matter of gluing it in place and making sure it fits like it should. Yeah, I'm not seeing how that's going to fit. So I'm going to monkey around with it here a little bit and see. Okay, so the best way to do this, it looks like, is to glue the bracket for the headlight on first, and then place the travel lock. So first I need to make sure this thing's bottomed out where it needs to be. All right, so I'm just going to get some extra thin, and it's making plastic contact on the inside of that photo etch. So I'm going to let that set up really well before I try and put this travel lock on. Okay, I got the actual headlight parts glued together, the cover and then the actual light. So this is glued on. So now let us put that there like that. And hopefully tack it in place. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I need to make myself a guideline, because this I'm going to line this piece of tape up with the actual bow part of this thing. So I can have a point of reference to make sure that the travel lock mounts are level. Because with the pattern of the Zimmer, it kind of wonky your eyes up a bit. And this way, yeah, see, that's much better. Okay, so I need to get some super glue. And what I like to do, I don't know if I've shown this, I'm sure I have, but I'll show it again. I just put a little dab on there like that. Then I get my applicator like that. Put some on here like that. Now I'm going to put some here like that and that. And hope something sticks. See if I can do this without sticking it to my phalanges. So I'll drop that right there like that, and see if it sticks. And it did. Splendid. That looks pretty straight. Alright, so there's that. So now with that glued into place, I can actually glue. I can drop the light, and then I can put it in here like that. And it can only go one direction because it's got like a little half circle, half moon shaped hole. And now that top part didn't stick. So I needed to fix that real quick. Don't want that being loose. Put a little bit on this side, hopefully. Let that dry for a second. While that's drying, I can just get some cement here and put that right there like that. So there it is. So that headlight part is actually in a step further along. But I wanted to do it while I installed that travel lock to make sure everything fit. So the next thing I need to do, now that the travel lock is in place, so I've got a couple of periscope guards, the driver and radio operator hatches to install with the grab handles. I've got these fittings on the side to glue. I've already done that, and then I have these B12 parts to glue on the top plate. So I'm going to get all those parts cut off, and then I can start gluing them in place. All right, and I've got this one last hook here to glue into place. Goes there, like that. All right, so that should conclude. Nope, still got some other parts. 2 B22s and a B23, which are some little tiny clamps. So let's see, should be over here. All right, to put these in place, I'm using this Crystal FX Pickup Artist. So I've got my super glue here, and I'll just touch that there and there, and put that there like that, and voila. I'm telling you, this right here is awesome. Makes it so easy. Put these parts on. So I can use two hands to really steady it, so I don't have to worry about it getting all crooked. So let's see. So anyway, I'll get these put on here, and then we can move on to step 14. All right, step 14, the light, which I did in the previous step. So we've got this, I think this is ventilation cover. Got the axe, sledgehammer, and the remaining cleaning rods. So I'm going to get those chopped off here. All right, so just a couple of locating pins here and here. Put some under the head just for good measure. Then we've got this piece here. It's got that kind of a partial circle with the corresponding protrusion here. So for this, I'm going to use this glue here. Like, oh shoot, like that, kind of, mostly. There we go. Man. All right, so there's that, and then the cleaning rods, and again using this handy dandy tool. Like that. Okay, so 15, 16, 17 I have already done. So I could put this on top. So looks like we're ready to move on to the gun. I've already got these installed. Got some small parts, B17. 2 of each, and those go around this hatch, the hatches. So let us cut these off. These ultra tiny parts go here, 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 and over there. Like that. Oh man, that's harrowing. All right, then we got another one. Boy, these are the kind of parts that you could send flying off into oblivion real quick. And oblivion is not a good place for small model parts. Those are all lifting points for these amazingly heavy bits of vehicle. So I'll finish these up. All right, those done. First thing I need to do is I need to glue these two barrel halves together. And there you go. Looks pretty good, don't it? Nice and solid. It's even got rifling in it and everything. Ha ha, I'm kidding. One piece barrel. So I need to assemble these mantlet parts here. So that's D32, 33, 37, and 36. All right, so I've got the parts cut out here and ready to go. So this part's first. Now this barrel, I'm going to put this in last, and I'm going to have to glue it in with some epoxy or something. But I'm going to use this stuff to kind of help stabilize it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this stuff on first. So this has got this tab here that fits in this right here. So, whoops, if I can do it without dropping it, make sure it's lined up. And okay, I've already done this once. Why isn't it going now? There we go. It wasn't lined up. So there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some cement on there. Make sure it's bottomed out really good. Like that. Then this piece here, there's a flat side that goes down. Whoops, gotta put this on first, I think. Nope. Oh man. There's a couple of, there we go. All right. Oh, crikey. There we go. All right. Put some cement all the way around that. And then this part here, it's shaped to fit that flat spot there, so that is going to go right there like that. Like that. So push that in place there. and let it dry. Okay, so at this point, I have completed all of the construction except for the fenders and the main gun. And of course the suspension, but I'm not going to do that until after I do some primer and paint underneath and weathering underneath here, because especially with fenders on it and everything else, I think that's the best approach. Actually, I'm just going to paint it because with the fenders on there, I don't think there's going to be much to see as far as the lower hull goes up underneath the sponsons. So let me get these. I'm going to get this little piece of fender here and just take a look and see how much is actually visible, because I may just straight up paint it and not bother with yeah, I think I'm not going to have to do any weathering underneath there. I can just do it on the wheels and all that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to work on the tracks. That's going to be a completely different video, because I like to do these T-Rex track videos and other tracks that I use. I like to do them as separate videos, so people don't have to watch the whole thing if they're only interested in trying out these kind of tracks. So that ends part number 3 of the Dragon 1/35 scale Jagdtiger. So thanks for following along. If you want to see more of my videos, maybe hit the subscribe button. Hit the notifications if you want to be notified whenever I post new stuff, or you can just skip it and not watch anymore. If you liked it, hit the like button, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So if you have any hints, tips, concerns, questions, or just want to talk, write something in the comments section down below. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and as always, I'll see you all later.